a spotlight on the trailer. This is just a continuation from last night when I showed you all the stuff that we did, all the sewing. I sewed up all the cushions over the last couple weeks. And I mentioned that, well, we love the day bed. It's utterly fantastic. But I mentioned that we wanted to sew up the curtains, so I did that today. A nice thing to do on a Sunday afternoon after coffee with friends. I came home and I started sewing. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 curtains for the bunk ends all sewn up. So yeah, all totaled 4 cushions here, 1 cushion here, 4 curtains, and the drapes, the curtains on the actual windows. Yeah, I do love sewing. My mom's sewing machine. I was going to use Oma's sewing machine, but I thought that would probably be just a little too ludicrous to use a 100-year-old sewing machine. Because I'm more used to mom's, and I was doing some intricate work, quote unquote. But anyway, so very, very rudimentary, nothing really fancy. We went over to Walmart the other day and we bought curtain rods with the attachments on the end. So I screwed them into the wall, and I also screwed them there. And then I did a little bit of jury rigging. I put a little wire to hold it to this thing in the middle, which is fine. So you just push it across the rod, and there you go. They cover over quite well. Let's open that one, and there you go, some curtains. Now I did not create the tie backs. We'll see if we need them, but I don't think I'm gonna worry about it before we go camping. We got a lot of other things to accomplish. We were supposed to take this thing down tonight, but that didn't happen because we were trying to get some Cricut work done. I just love that. See, it's for Josh. And we got the beds made. Sandy made the beds today, so we're actually going to pack up the trailer with the beds made because we're going to grab it in a week or two and go camping. We won't have to make the beds when we get there. So the first thing I built, did on the Cricut cutter today, was for my friend Sarah. So the fire extinguisher is inside here. There it is right there. And so when we say, go get the fire extinguisher, it's inside the door. You open the door and there's the fire extinguisher sign right there. So nice and safe, people know where it is. And just like the other side, these curtains, I mean, they just go across the post there and the post there. And that's good enough. That really is good enough for this trailer. Better than they were before. They used to be in these pull throughs, just like the ones over there. And little plastic doohickeys go in there, clippies, and it's always like, even if you look at this, right? And I just reused the plastic hookies. It's tough to open. You have to do a lot more work to get that open than when you just put on a curtain rod like that. Now this is a little different than our old trailer, when basically I just got some aircraft cable and I ran it all the way around the perimeter of the ceiling, and I had all the curtains hanging from that. That went very well because you could tighten up that aircraft cable, and the curtains were just laying on top of that, and they open and close very nicely on top of that. But we didn't want to do that here. First of all, we don't have any more. I could have got the Canadian Tire a lot more, but we wanted to try this. The curtain rods, they're doing a good job, and I didn't want to drill more holes because the aircraft cable required some severe over jury rigged holders in the 4 corners, so you wouldn't break, like, because the aircraft cable was underneath good tension going around the perimeter. This is good enough. We are not going to put up the valance again. This thing had a valance with it. It's in a bin downstairs with the old curtains. We are not going to put the valance back up, nor we're thinking we're not going to make one for this thing. It's kind of ugly seeing the Velcro staple to the ceiling, but from a distance you can't really see it. It's white on a white ceiling. Maybe if we get sick of looking at it, we'll actually do it in the future, but for now, no valance. Sandy and I actually also in the Cricut cutter made some cutesy little camping things there, happy campers and stuff like that we're going to put in the bunk ends, and we tried tonight. And the problem is that the sticky tack that the things were connected to that we used for peeling it off was way too sticky, and the text and the pictures were sticking to the sticky tack and not to the wood. It's probably, as Sandy says, probably because first of all, the wood paint was very glossy, and it doesn't. And she bought the shelf paint, or the high wear paint, so it's very, very good at not allowing stains or stuff to stick to it. So that's probably thwarting us in our endeavors to put the thing on there. As well, I did find the sticky tack to be very, very sticky. I don't know if it just sat around too long and it just got really, really tacky. But I mean, it worked there when I used that. So as Sandy said, that's not high gloss, high wear, high maintenance or low maintenance paint. So I think that in the end she's right. The paint itself, because it is the shelf paint, the high wear paint, is not allowing anything to stick to it. So we might be thwarted in our endeavors to get some sort of cricket cuteness there, but we're gonna try again at some point, but not tonight because it's after 11 and it's bedtime. So I really have to stop saying on these videos. I keep on thinking that I'm going to, and I just never bother. But our sleeping bags are already in here for camping. I grabbed them and threw them in here because I was already in the basement. And everything else that gets stored in here is still in the garage, so we're not going to load up tonight. We're not going to take the trailer down tonight because, as I said, it's after 11, and I'm going to go to bed now. Oh, see, there's none. So I'm going to try consciously. So there might be more pauses and less ums. But in the end, I'm going to try to become more quote-unquote professional in my videos. So with that note, by the way, Patreon, none. You don't have to support me. I don't have a GoFundMe page. I don't have a Patreon page. I don't have a money-making page. I don't have sponsors. Again, I have to stop doing that. It's not anything I want to do. Other people can do it. I support other people's web channels and YouTube channels because I want to see their product, their videos. So I wanted to support them. But this is my hobby. I will do this if one person watches or 50 people watch this. I don't need a Patreon to keep going. I don't need people to fund me to keep going. I have a job that pays me enough. They could pay me more, but it pays me enough for my 8 to 5 job, 9 to 5 job. And this is what I want to do with my time afterwards. And it's my time to use afterwards. It's a hobby. So I'll keep on making these videos. If one person watches or 100 people watch, it's fine by me. Again, I have to stop the ums. But I won't say this emphatically, but for now, I am not going to get a Patreon. I am not going to get a GoFundMe. I am not going to ask for any money from anybody to keep going. I don't need sponsors. If you have ideas for my videos, just absolutely drop me a line. Put reply to these videos, absolutely, and I will respond to every single reply that I find in my videos. I do that, but in the end, I will not. If I don't want to make a video, I won't make it. And if you guys suggest something that I'm not interested in, I'm not interested in. I'm sorry. I'm interested in doing a lot of things, and I really do like making videos. As you can see, I have a huge YouTube channel that I have 300 subscribers to. And again, I won't ask you to like or subscribe. If you want to, go ahead. I'm not begging. I'm not asking. If you want to like and subscribe my videos, I would appreciate it, but I don't need it. I've never needed edification externally to myself. I want friends. I have lots of friends, but I want to be friendly. I want to be happy with the people who communicate with me, who interact with me, but I don't need this. I want this. It's like my hobby. I don't need hobbies. I have hobbies that I love. And so I do find some YouTube channels are very, very pushy, saying, oh, like and subscribe below. Click like, click. No, don't if you don't want to. If you do want to, if you want to see what I'm going to post later, I don't know what I'm going to post later. Right now, it's kind of, the Lego's a little dried up because it's summertime and I don't spend a lot of time in the basement. So I'm not doing a lot of Lego videos anymore, but that'll pick up in the fall. But right now, it's my trailer all the time. And because Sandy and I are working hard on it, and we're going to go trying to get lots of camping in before the snow flies, and the campsites are opening up now. So this is where my focus is right now. So I don't have a lot of time for the Lego hobby right now. So right now, I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very proud. I'm very, very sincerely, I guess, joyful that we're going camping in a couple weeks. And I'm looking forward to it so much. And so is Sandy. And we love camping together. And the renos that we did to this trailer, and you can go back in the YouTube feed and see all the renos with the electrical stuff over there, and the new bench here, and the new floor, and everything else. The tabletop's not done, and this is not done. It will be done at some point, whatever. But they're used. They're useful. We don't have to do it right now today, and because I don't have time, and I don't have an idea yet what I want to do with these two here, but I don't have to worry about it right now because everything else is already done. Everything looks good, and those things are still, can be used as they are. So like and subscribe if you desire. I'm not asking you to. I'm not begging you to. I don't need you to watch my videos or don't watch my videos. I'm here for myself. I'm not that stupid. I'm not here for myself. I'm here for my friends. I'm here for my family. My family's interested. That's perfectly good enough for me. If other people who don't know me are interested, absolutely. I'd love to chat. So if you want to talk about stuff and post about stuff and have any questions about what I did here, because, there was a lot of extensive work here. We put a brand new electrical panel in here. We ran wires, and I actually had the solar array set up yesterday. That's all in there. So, and I did a lot of research on the internet for that. So I had a lot of fun with this, and I wanted to share it with whoever's interested. But I don't need to like or subscribe. I think I've talked about this enough. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. The bottom line is I'm still going to make videos whether anybody watches them or not. I used to have a website years ago that I just had my videos connected to, back to like HTML 1.0, Sparky Space, long gone. And I had 10 friends that would actually consistently go to my webpage, and that was perfectly acceptable for me. I've been on YouTube. I think I mentioned this before. I've been on YouTube since about a year after they started. I was like one of the first subscribers and people putting up videos on YouTube. And this is way back in the day. And so that's 15 plus years ago now. And I have 350 subscribers. I'm fine with that. Other people will start a YouTube channel tomorrow and they'll have like a 1.5 million by the end of the week. Good for them. I'm happy for them. I'll be one of them. I'll subscribe to your channel if you have something interesting that I want to I'm interested in. I've subscribed to a whole bunch of YouTube channels the last couple of weeks about solar arrays for camper trailers and how to size wires and blah, blah, blah. It's great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. And people that are very, very much more personable than I am. And they don't say a lot. So I'd rather listen to them than me. But for me, I know that some of my friends watch these videos, and I'll keep on posting these videos. If it's for two people, I'm perfectly. As for me, I go back and watch them. I say, oh yeah, that was a good idea, and so I'm happy. I'm happy with what I have now. I'm happy with the people who are happy with what I do. And if you're not interested, you're not interested. And that's fine. There's a billion YouTube channels out there. There's millions of videos out there, millions of hours of watching time. Go watch Russian car crash videos. I got stuck on those for a while. Go watch crazy cat videos, whatever you're interested in. But if you are interested in anything I've done at all in any of my videos, and you have questions and you want or more details, I will absolutely provide them if you leave a response. But if you don't want to, then you don't have to. So enough on that. 14 minutes into this, I am going to go to bed. I'm happy with what we did today. At least we got the fire extinguisher labeled, so now people know where the fire extinguisher is in this trailer if they have to come running in here to get it. I hope nothing like that ever happens, but I have a safety officer at work that I am very, very communicative with, and she's teaching me a lot about safety, even though I know a lot about safety. But she's very, very impactful and very passionate about safety stuff. And I just keep on thinking about how to make life safer and better for people. And that's the one thing that I could really, really do quickly, is just say fire extinguishers in here. So, and because we're going camping and we're going to be around campfires and we have propane and we have a whole bunch of stuff. And we put a lot of effort into this trailer. I'm going to say that. Most people don't do this. This is our second trailer that we renoed, basically from scratch. We ripped out the original and okay, that piece of wood I'll talk about in a bit. But this is our second trailer. The first one I mentioned before we got from my Uncle Ted, and it used to be Grandpa's trailer. And it was 40 plus years old. And the inside was pretty bad. So we basically went right down to the floor and we put a brand new floor and built it all the way back up. And that was an 8-foot trailer. Can't remember what kind of model it was. It wasn't a Starcraft. It might have been a Jayco, but it was really, really old. And so we built new benches for that, and it didn't have any electrical in it at all. Again with the ums, but it didn't have any electrical, so that was the easy part. No propane, because again, as I say, we camp outside. I mean, we camp outside. We cook outside. We don't bother cooking. Like you can see, all the sinks and stuff are gone. We got this trailer, as I mentioned in other videos, it's pretty much mint. There's a few minor issues, but over the years of us owning it, it got old and it got used and it had to be fixed. And we wanted a new floor. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the interior of the old trailer, of this trailer, before we started renos. There was absolutely nothing wrong. The only thing that was wrong is that the electrical panel just kind of went combustible. So we had to replace that. And in the act of replacing that, we knew that we had to rerun wires, and then rerunning wires requires to get inside cabinets and everything like else. And I said, just rip them out. And Sandy agreed with me. And we wanted to put a new floor down anyway. And trying to cut a floor around all the various, cabinets and benches is a lot harder than just going floor from edge to edge and putting the stuff on top. And we wanted the day bed. This was the important part of ripping out the stuff from the old trailer. So there was a credenza, there was a drawers, a shelf system in there. It was kind of finicky and whatever. It was kind of bleh. It had 2 or 3 small doors in it, and it was very hard to pack stuff in it. So it was pretty much useless. I mean, it held a little bit, but Sandy goes, let's take that out and put a day bed in. So we're taking that one out anyway, right? And then we had to take this one out because that's where the power supply was and all the wires were. So we had to take that bench out. And then if we take that bench out, you might as well take that bench out. So, and then while we're taking this bench out, and this is where the sink and stove used to be, and we had to rip out the old sink and stove. So that had to be rebuilt. So you might as well take out the whole thing. And that's why it happened. So we took out everything besides that guy over there. We took out everything else. Didn't have to. We could have gotten away with just replacing the electrical panel, really, where it was, and leaving the credenza or the storage area here, and we would have been perfectly fine. And the floor would have been not nearly as good looking as it is now, because you're cutting around everything, and it would have saved us some money for sure, because that's a lot of wood here, a lot of wood here. Especially during this crisis when wood prices went up. I would have to say, I won't even guess at a number right now, but it would have been less expensive if we did it 2 years ago before the crisis, and probably a year from now after the crisis when everybody gets their supply back. But we did it during the crisis, and wood was expensive, not stupid expensive. That's why we still did it, but it was expensive. And the panels we ordered from Amazon and blah, blah, blah. We kept the heater, the original heater. We got rid of the fridge, as I mentioned in the other video. This is just a regular 120 volt mini fridge for various reasons. Like the crappy 3-way fridge doesn't do any good at all, and there's hardly any space in it. And that's actually a mini fridge, and it holds a lot. So I had so much fun renovating this. I had more, just like we did with the other trailer that we renovated. I love woodworking. I love working with my power tools. And so I got to use everything. I got to use my electrical skills, my woodworking skills, my sewing skills that I taught myself with my mom's sewing machine that I, acquired from her after she passed away. I didn't want to throw it out. Nobody else wanted it. So it sat in our basement for a long time. And I said, well, it's sitting there. I might as well learn how to sew. I never sewed before a stitch in my life. So, and so we had her sewing machine, but it's like the sewing machine's older than me. And I mentioned the other videos, but for those of you who haven't heard it, I used to sit there and watch my mom sew when I was 5, 6, 7, 10 years old. And she used to sew up costumes and all this stuff and hand puppets and all these things for Vacation Bible School and for her nursery schools. She was a teacher at nursery school, and for the Cubs and for the Scouts, and for like my first 10 Halloween costumes growing up were handmade by my mom, right? And so I couldn't get rid of the sewing machine. It has significance to me. It's not going to have any significance. It's not a brand name. It's Omega. It's not like when I tried to look it up, because I thought it was a high-end machine. No, it's a knockoff. It's at like 1968, but it wasn't like a Singer. So if you had a 1968 Singer, that's worth something. But this thing is worth absolutely nothing to anybody else. But it's worth something to me. It's my mom's sewing machine. I remember watching her sewing. And so when I got it out after sitting in the basement for a bunch of years after she passed away, I guess almost a decade ago now. She's almost a decade. Anyway, I won't talk about that too much. There's family. And so I got it out, and I had to figure out how to thread a bobbin. I did not even know that. I've never took home ec in school. I took woodshop, which is was a part of this, but home ec was, and I never ever used a sewing machine in my life, and so I had to teach myself. And I got some YouTube videos, and there you go. So there's YouTube videos out there to tell me how to actually thread a bobbin for my sewing machine, and I did. Hi. Josh says hi. Josh is going to bed. Josh is going to bed now. Yeah. Bye. I'll be in a bit. Okay. So that was, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago, I started to sew on my mom's sewing machine and started making various things for around the house. And I'm not even close. Like, my niece is a professional seamstress. And she makes absolutely fantastic. She makes costumes, dance costumes, dance outfits, whatever. It's for professional dancers who go in competitions around the world. She makes those costumes that you see on America's Got Talent or whatever. She makes those costumes for a whole bunch of production companies. She just looks at a sewing machine. 5 seconds later, she's got this outfit, right? So it's like, wow, I can't even imagine the talent that takes. I mean, I'm sewing these things, and I'm going, these are just straight stitches all the way across, and I'm going, I'm having a tough time with this, right? So it's like, how to make a box to put foam mattresses in. Yeah, that's what I did here. So it's like, I am nowhere, and I don't want it. I don't need to be a professional seamstress or seamster, whatever your male equivalent of seamstress is. But I did have fun sewing this up, and I got to use my mom's sewing machine to do it. So, and I got to use my woodworking skills, and I got to use my electrical skills, and even my propane skills, because of course I had to get rid of the gas line here and the gas line there, and all the gas lines in, because we only have one gas line in here going to that guy now. I'm looking forward to camping in this thing, and I'm looking forward, just because I love camping. As I mentioned in other videos, I've loved camping since I was a kid, but I'm gonna love camping in this trailer because it's something that we built as a family, and that meant something to me, and it brought back a lot of memories of my mom and my dad, and well, my dad's still around, so don't worry about that. But and even woodshop class with my favorite woodshop teacher, Brad Elliott, who is just a wonderful, wonderful memory of a very kind and decent guy from back in the day in Winona High School. And I was thinking about him when I was building this thing, and how he would appreciate this kind of stuff. So I do things for me, and I do things for friends, and I do things for family. And that's what these videos on my YouTube channel are for friends and family and people who want to come along with me. And if you don't want to come along with me, you don't have to. You don't have to tell me you're not coming along with me. You don't have to go on my YouTube channel. Oh, Dave, you're an idiot, and I can't believe I wasted time watching your video. Hey, people, I'm going to say this to complete strangers right now. People greater than you have thought I was an idiot, and it never bothered me. People thinking me an idiot, sure, knock yourself out. If you're putting energy to tell me that you think I'm an idiot, you've already lost the discussion. So go ahead. But if you want to come along with me on this on my walk, I'm going to go in this direction here. I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I'm going in this direction here. I don't need a Patreon page to do that. I don't need a GoFundMe page. I don't need to get sponsors. I don't need you to like and subscribe below. I don't need that, because I'm still going to go in this direction whether I get 0. I'm still going to go this way. My compass is pretty much set. My parents made sure that when I was 10 years old, or even before, my compass is set. My appreciation of what I like and who I like and even if I haven't met you yet, but I can tell which personalities I'm going to get along with and which personalities are going to clash with me. So I don't need anybody else in my life. I want other people in my life. I want friends. I want to meet new friends. I want to meet new people, like-minded people who love camping, who love woodworking, who like sewing. I can talk about sewing now with people who want to talk about sewing, electrical, and getting a solar array working. If you want to talk about stuff, as you can see, 25 minutes into this, I can talk about stuff. But I'm still going to walk in this direction. So come along with me if you want. Like and subscribe if you want. But I'm not going to ask. Well, I've asked. No, it's not really asked. I'm just making a point. Again, I have to stop with the ums. It's a bad habit. So I'm going to wrap this up. Oh yeah, so this piece of wood here. So I designed this whole thing. We ripped out the entire interior last fall. And over the winter, I took all the measurements, and this thing went in the storage. The whole trailer went in the storage, but it was empty. There was nothing in here except for that little guy over there. And over the winter, I imported all the dimensions into Visio, Microsoft Visio, which again is one of my favorite pieces of software ever. And I 3D rendered it, and I said, okay, so this bench requires these pieces. So I could actually get a wood count, what I needed for wood, the length and what I was going to do. And I knew I didn't want to make it heavy, so I was going to use 1x3s and put panels in, just MDF panels. And that would save the weight. And also look good, because I think that looks fantastic. Instead of just one solid piece of wood going across there, because I could have bought that hobby wood, the laminated 14 and 16 inch hobby wood, which, we use for the countertop, right? I mean, you can get it. That I could use this piece of wood, it's 8 feet long along there. The problem is that 8 feet piece is stupid heavy. Whereas 1x3s like that with panels, it's not even half the weight. It's like 1/4 the weight of a real 1 by 14, 1x16 at 6 feet long. I mean, this trailer would have weighed 5 times as much if we just made solid wood panels or solid wood benches. Solid wood, it is way too heavy. I mean, it's heavy enough. I would say, I was trying to figure this out, if this trailer is heavier than it was before we ripped out the old stuff. And yes, it is. And it really had nothing to do with all the stuff we put on top. It has everything to do with the floor we put down. We bought 12 millimeter, yes, 12 millimeter, engineered laminate floor. And so 4 boxes, and each box, I could carry 2 boxes at a time, but they're pretty heavy to come into here. And that's because all before is over top of the vinyl floor that was there before. If we bought a piece of vinyl, it would have contributed hardly any weight to this trailer. But the 4 boxes of 12 millimeter wood contribute a lot of weight to the floor, to the trailer. I would say the benches are exactly the same weight they were before. With the hardwood that they used and the panels that they used, maybe a little heavier. I added a lot of electrical that was not there before, because again, we got solar panels now, but that's hardly anything. The furnace is exactly, because it's exactly the same furnace. The fridge is lighter than the old fridge. The 3-way fridge was actually pretty heavy. This is lighter than the old fridge. And this is solid wood here, top and bottom here, so that contributes some weight. I do want to take this thing over a weight scale, because it's supposed to be X amount of weight. I don't think we're even coming close to that for the, I forget the GWR or whatever, the tow weight and the weight on the axle. I don't think we're there yet, but I do not want to load up the trailer like I used to with firewood. So I don't want to add a lot more weight to the trailer. So whatever it's carrying, it's carrying. Whatever stuff we got, the easy up, we got the other stuff that sits here, the kitchenette, but I'm not going to throw more stuff in here because again, I think the trailer is heavier. Actually, I know the trailer is heavier just because of the floor, but we don't want to make it too heavy when we're towing it. and we can put everything else in the trailer or in the van, and we can buy the firewood when we're at the site. So anyway, when I was designing this thing, I said, well, we have to have that little piece here that rises above the bench because it has to hold the back of that thing at the bottom so it doesn't fall off. So if you look at this closely, and I put this piece on like 2 hours ago. So when I built this thing, we didn't even have the cushions done yet. So when I built the bench, right, this comes back here and this comes up that far, and I said, well, that's gonna be fine because that's gonna get to the bottom of this thing to hold it there so it doesn't fall off, because I thought, oh, it's right there, right? The problem is I forgot, right? So it doesn't fall off. The problem is I forgot that I thought our actual cushions were 2 inches thick when they were actually 4 inches thick. So they're 4 inches thick. And so the 4 inches came above the 1x3 I put here. You can see it's like that much higher. And so when this thing was on here before, and you set your keister right here and you lean back, this thing would just go like that. That's what it would do, right? It would just, and that's not good for anybody. So, and we talked about it, and I said, well, I have to put a piece of wood there. And we thought, well, there's always going to be 2 people sitting here, one there and one here. And so that person's going to be like, because it's not going to go back there because you got that to stop. But I was sitting here just today, this morning, and I leaned against this thing, and this thing wasn't here yet. And this whole thing went flip, and I almost fell off the chair, right? Because you almost fell backwards. I said, nah, I'm not going to put up with that. So I just went and I grabbed the piece of scrap 1x3 that we had left over. And it's not painted yet, it's hardly even sanded yet, but it's going to be there for camping. And I said, for now, because this thing is here, and most people look in the door, right? So they don't even see that piece of wood. So when you're looking here, you only see that basically 1 foot piece of exposed wood. But we are going to paint this the same color as this at some point. So that was my latest edition. That's the one thing I completely overlooked when I did my design over winter, having no access to the trailer and also having no access to the old benches, because of course we ripped them out. We took them to the dump. So that was an oversight on my part, because I could have done that when I built the benches. Again, I started building the benches before we got the trailer out of storage. So Sandy and I were, we ordered all the wood over at Home Depot during the lockdown, and we picked it up, all the wood, and I started, because I had all the drawings, I started building the benches, that one and this one, before the trailer was even in the driveway, right? So, you know, and then I started, and the cushions that, because we just re-upholstered the original cushions, the cushions were in the trailer, so I did not have access to the cushions at all. And so I should have, you know, realized that these things were 4 inches thick. I just assumed they were 2, because that's the foam that we ordered for this guy is 2 inches thick. But it wasn't, it was 4. So that was an oversight on my part. The other oversight on my part was this whole thing from there to here is supposed to be exactly 6 feet, because it's a 6-foot bed. You know, this thing goes into a bed. The table comes down and makes it to a bed. The issue is, for this thing here, is this 3/4 of an inch of this wood is 6 inches to here. So I did the measurement to here for 6 feet. So now the whole thing is 5 foot 11 1/4. So I mean, this thing still will go down to a bed, but the bed's only 5 foot 11 1/4 long, and not 6 feet, which is not a big thing because it's 3/4 of an inch, but it does make a little bit of a difference. So in the end, happy we did everything here, and we got the curtains up, we got the cushions done. There's nothing else we have to do before we go camping. We just have to reload the trailer. We're not gonna worry about the kitschy stuff on the ends right now. Maybe we'll do something tomorrow, because again, it's too late to take down the trailer tonight, so we'll still be in the driveway tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. But glad you guys came along, and I hope to hear from you soon, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night.